Welcome back to Squarely on the Level. My name is Darren Kellerman. I'm working in association with the Grand Lodge of Kansas. This week we're going to talk about some things that happened over the past week, and then we're going to look forward to things coming up that you don't want to miss out on. I want to apologize to everyone who didn't get last week's episode uploaded, and the reality is I was just having some doubts about what we were doing. A lot of last week's content I was involved with directly, and I'm not a really big pusher on self-promotion. And a lot of the stuff that was going on I was involved in, and I thought it was for the good. But also having some concerns about if the show was going the right direction, and because you don't get a lot of feedback. You know, I tell you every week, if you like what you see and want to see more of it, hit that like button and hit the subscribe and notification bell. And it doesn't happen a lot. Put comments down below if you want to see something not happening. But I always tell people you want to go to the annual communication, because you meet people from all over the state and you come out of there just re-energized. Leadership Academy does that too, and most Grand Lodge events do, but annual communication just does that. And this year may have been the best year for me ever. A lot of folks I didn't know until the annual communication came up to me and just said, thanks for doing the show. We love watching it. We love what you're doing. Got a lot of great ideas from it. You're welcome, but this show is for you. Unless you leave comments down below, what happens is you're just going to get what I want to talk about. So it's very important that you tell me what you want to know about, and we can put it right here on the show for you. But let's talk about the annual communication. Again, great. Kicked off on Thursday afternoon. Kansas Lodge of Research had a panel discussion, and I was involved in that. I got to sit in with Brother Patrick Craddock and Michael Kupch, moderated by the director of the Kansas Lodge of Research, Alex Powers. Fairly well attended. And very interactive session. A lot of stuff came out of that. And I tell you what, very humbled to be involved with Brother Craddock, Brother Kupch. I learned a ton just by listening to them talk. And the crowd interaction brought up a lot of interesting points. I know Director Powers was wanting to go one direction, but the crowd wanted to go a little bit different direction, so we did, because that's what we do as Freemasons. If you want to talk about something, we'll address it head on. And it was great. I look forward to participating in more of those panel discussions, either as a panelist or in the crowd. But a lot of great stuff going on there. And we'll come back and talk about the Lodge of Research and what's going on with them in a little bit. That Thursday evening, if you watch the Facebook Live, if you weren't there in person, we had the welcome reception. This is like the 4th or 5th year the Kansas Masonic Foundation is hoping to hosted a welcome reception for us. And wonderful beverages, light or moderate to heavy hors d'oeuvres, and just a great social time for all of us that have traveled in that day. A chance to just rest and relax and somewhat refresh ourselves with our brothers and ladies from around the state. So thank you to the Kansas Masonic Foundation. I know Executive Director Bob Shively works very hard with his staff to put that together, and wonderful again. And you don't have to be a Mason or even go into the annual communication to attend that. So just stop in and say hi next year if you're around to do that. On Friday, a wonderful day. We've got the program here still. Annual communication. We had the public grand opening. Again, if you weren't there in person, you can go back and watch that on Facebook. I'll post a link down below in the comments or in the description section if you want to go back and watch that. It's a long one, but you can just skip through it and catch the parts you want to see. We broadcast the entire public grand opening live there, and oddly, that is probably the biggest observed video that we have every year is that public grand opening. So, and it's not just our own Masons, it's folks from around the state and around the world watching that. But it was a great event that day. And then we had the business session, a lot of great stuff, and it moved along at a great clip. Some years, the tiled session just drags on, and you're sitting there in the room just, painful. But this year, it moved along at a great pace. They kept things flowing. I tell you what, they use the consent agenda now. When I first started going about 10 years ago or 15 years ago, they read a lot of reports. And if you read back through history, you'll find out the annual communication used to be days long, and they read every report. There was discussion and debate. And that was good. I get that. But nowadays, with the people's work schedules and the younger Masons, as it were, wanting to attend the annual communication, we have to expedite things. And Grand Lodge encourages the use of consent agenda at the local lodge level, and that's what they're doing at the Grand Lodge level. So some of the more regular reports and non-controversial reports were put into a consent agenda, and it was moved and seconded, and bam, gone. We were on to more important stuff that we wanted to be there for. Grand Lodge leading by example. They tell us to do it at the local lodge level, and they do it at the big level. So kudos to Grandmaster Talbot, Deputy Grandmaster Morrow there. So that was wonderful. And that afternoon, after a wonderful family luncheon, that afternoon, well, we did see some awards go up right before lunch there. If you didn't see those, I can get you a copy of this, at least the electronic version if you want it. Just shoot me an email, and I can shoot you the PDF version of this whole booklet if you want. Hopefully your lodge had representatives there. It's required at least once every 3 years, and we had some lodges not show up this year, and it's kind of uncomfortable. But bylaw proposals, send home a report card. There's a thing in here so that your representative could check off whether the proposals passed and failed or whatnot happened there. Not much controversy there. One proposal did get withdrawn. Not sure what was going on there, but it did get withdrawn, and we'll hope to see that back next year. On Saturday, we installed our 150th, oh, I'm sorry, that evening, Friday evening, we did have the awards banquet. Again, we did broadcast that live on Facebook, and again, I'll post a link to that down in the description down below if you'd like to catch that. In the tiled session, the biggest award that a Mason can receive was given out there. C. David Williams III received the Grand Master's Order of Merit. A very moving moment. His remarks, very poignant. Well done, Right Wilshire Brother C. David Williams, the 2019 Grand Master's Order of Merit recipient. At the All-Masonic Gala, or the banquet, on Friday night, several more awards were given out. If you haven't seen that, make sure you watch it. And we did have kind of an awkward moment during the recording there. But let's just say that you got an award. So, don't want to say much more than that. But because of you and the comments that you've been giving out to other people about this show, got you an award. So, thank you for that. On Saturday, the 150th Grand Master of Kansas, Dale Morrow, was installed. Again, if you weren't there and you'd like to see the installation program, just shoot me an email and I'll be happy to send you the PDF of this. I always find these interesting. I have a whole stack of these, but it lists the Grand Lodge officers that were installing them, lists the current Grand Lodge officers, the current district and area deputies and Grand Lodge lecturers, and then there's an invitation in there. There's a biography of the Grand Master, invitation to the Grand Master's reception and dinner, which is going to be on April the 13th in Wichita. So, and online registration is open for that now. So if you're interested in going to that, click on news and events on kansasmason.org and get reservations for the Grand Master's reception. So, but it was a great time installing the 150th Grand Master of Kansas and his officers. He had a gavel presentation by, I just lost her name, Kaylee Harris got up and gave a beautiful gavel presentation. She's with Rainbow Girls, and it was just wow. And speaking of wow, you should see the Grand Master's gavel this year. It based off Mjolnir, Thor's hammer, made out of wood by one of the Grand Master's Lodge brothers, past master, as it were. We'll be posting some more. We'll be posting pictures on Facebook in the upcoming week. We don't quite have them all together yet. Inga Marrero, thank you for she's our unofficial, official Grand Lodge photographer. Don Brent is our professional photographer. He did a lot of the he did all the professional photos of the Grand Lodge officers and the events going on. So we look forward to seeing those. Things coming up. Had a nice visit with the director of the Kansas Lodge of Research. If you missed the last virtual education session, wow, impressive. Talked about Masonic art and looking at art with the initiated eye. Wow. The director has already planned out the next one, and I'll post a link to the Kansas Lodge of Research Facebook page. They've put out a release on that, and the one coming up is on Chamber of Reflection, and this is going to be great. It's a live event in April. You have to remember the Lodge of Research to view it. So if you're not there, I'll post a link to that as well in the description of this video. Get on board the Kansas Lodge of Research. There's a ton of stuff going on. So much more than just books and research. They're bringing it to you right here where you're watching this video. This will be a live broadcast, and you just have to be registered for it. Be a Kansas Lodge of Research member. So, last thing I'd like to ask this week is we need to get the Twitter and Instagram for the Grand Lodge of Kansas going. The reality is, I don't have enough pictures to do it. I need you to help me with that. Anytime you go somewhere, snap a picture of something Masonic, whether it's something on the wall, it's your brother, it's your ladies, it's what you're eating. Don't do that. I see enough of those eating photographs. But something Masonic, send it to me at either SquarelyLevel@kansasmason.org or Kellerman@kansasmason.org. And I'll give you credit. Just tell me who you are, what lodge you're from. I'll slap the Grand Lodge logo on there so people just can't steal it and use it for their own thing. And we'll post it on the Twitter or Instagram. Instagram's where I'm really needing it. People around the world follow our Instagram, and we've had a lot of great pictures on our Instagram. Lastly, did you know there was degree work going on this upcoming week? Well, I didn't either. I see it here and there, usually after it happens. If you've got degree work coming up, trestle@kansasmason.org. We need to know so I can put that on the Grand Lodge Trestle Board calendar so we can advertise that to everybody in the whole state. It's so frustrating to see that, oh, degree work just happened last night in this lodge, or it happened last Tuesday in that lodge. If only we'd have known about it, there might have been some extra people there from looking at the calendar. But if you don't tell us, we can't help get people there. So if you have a degree work coming up, study club coming up, a lodge event of interest to the state, let us know. You can send that to me at SquarelyLevel@kansasmason.org, Kellerman@kansasmason.org, and I'll help you advertise that. I don't say it too often, but I happen to know the guy who does social media for the Grand Lodge of Kansas. I know a guy that has access to all the area Facebook pages in Kansas. So if you're needing some help promoting your lodge activity, you just have to let me know. Let your district or area deputy know. They're the first line. I'm kind of the last line catch-all. But if you're looking to promote your lodge event, let your district deputy know, let your area deputy know. Or when you don't know who that is, SquarelyLevel@kansasmason.org or Kellerman@kansasmason.org, and I'll help you out. I'll direct you to the person that you need to go to, or I can help you myself by taking care of that for you. Because at the end of the day, that's what we do as Freemasons. We watch out and take care of each other. Again, a big thank you to everyone who attended the annual communication. There is just over 400 people there. At one point, I think there was about 480 people in the session, I think. A little bit disappointed. Personally, I know Grandmasters, Talbot and Morrow, were pleased by that. But I'm like, really? We're in the largest populated area of the state, Wichita. We should have had that place standing room only. I've heard so often, if you bring it down to Wichita, we'll be there. There was some of those people, I didn't see you there. I know you have to work, and faith and family always, always, always come first. The Grandmasters have said that for years. Faith, family, vocation, and then lodge. So I understand that. But anyway, until next time, this is Darren Kellerman reminding you to keep it squarely on the level. And I did, I'll tell you what, I had a very rough moment. And I had a great week. I tell you what, went in kind of, but I tell you what, after meeting all the brothers, especially the guys I'd never met before, and first-time attendees in communication, bam! Just excited about Kansas Freemasonry again. It was just talk about recharging the batteries, just bam! I love talking to newer Masons or first-time masters of their lodge, just guys who are excited to be there and meeting everybody. And that's what I'm talking about. I mean, I meet all my old friends that I've seen before that I met at any communication. That's great. But man, meeting the new guys and I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it. It was just great. But for me, personally, and I was trying to record a segment on Saturday morning before the installation of our 150th Grand Master. And I had a moment in the hallway outside the Grand Lodge room. And the Grand Yorkite Commander was out there going through some final rehearsal, just getting themselves squared away. Not sure why, because they were pretty darn squared away to start with. But that's what they do. Always practicing their maneuvers. And it's just beautiful. They were down behind me about 30 yards. And I knew what I wanted to say, or thought I did. And then just, bam, just emotions overtook me. And for those of you who heard me speak before, I had the hanky out, and it was a train wreck in the hallway. But it's just very, very powerful what Freemasonry can do to a person. And it just hit me out of the blue. And yeah, so that does not make the cut for this episode, and probably never will, unless we're playing it now behind me without any sound. Just crazy how it happens. And I've heard that happen a lot in degree work and things like that. We're talking about family, and whether it's blood family or just Masonic family, and how things be going fine, and then just bam, you get overtaken, blindsided, and didn't even know it was coming. And that's what Freemasonry does for me. When things are going one direction, maybe not a good direction, you interact with your brothers, or just knowing you are, and bam, things just take off like a jet plane or a rocket, and you're off and running. So again, thank you for watching. Thanks for your support of not just this program, but all the Grand Lodge programs, all your local lodge programs, dependent bodies, the youth groups, those things. They all need our support. And again, faith, family, vocation, and then lodge. And that's where it's at. But just remember how important that lodge interaction can be to you and what it does for you. Until next week. Normally we'd be broadcasting live the public installation of Grand Lodge officers, but as you can see, I'm decked out in the regalia I don't get to wear very often, or I don't wear very often anyway. But I have the honor and pleasure to... Not very often do I don this regalia, but today's a very special day. Normally normally I'd be broadcasting the installation of the Grand Lodge officers live. Normally we'd broadcast the public installation of Grand Lodge officers live, but today, as you can see, I'm wearing regalia you don't see me in very often, because I have the great honor and pleasure today of installing the 150th Grand Master of Masons in Kansas, Dale Morrow. So instead of being behind the camera or in front of the camera, we're just going to go in and have a nice ceremony today. So until next time, this is Darren Kellerman staying squarely on the level.